What's going on? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Gen X Arbor Vet here. This video comes from TikTok, or it's going to be 3 videos come from TikTok, and it's covering a topic that's apparently going on. It's called Veterans Don't Deserve Benefits. So, yeah, you could tell by the way this guy looks that he's never done anything meaningful in his life. He's one of those keyboard warriors, and he goes online to spew his type of nonsense. You know, usually you could tell these people apart. You know, here in Seattle, they will have blue hair, purple hair, red hair, pink hair, and they're very effeminate. So without further ado, let's see what he has to say.
Oh, what is this VA benefits? That's like $9,000.
It's $1,200 or $1,900 a month, every month. The $9,000 was a back pay for them back paying me.
What is this? Is this disability?
Yes.
So basically, when they said back pay, you know, it depends on when you file your benefits. You know, some people, when they get out the military, they don't track their progress the entire time in the military. Like, I tracked everything from day one I got to Fort Bragg in 1997 up until the day I retired in 2017. You know, whether I twisted my ankle, had bloody noses, headaches, migraines, whatever the case is. You know, you have everything documented. So when you do get out the military, or even up to 2 months before you get out the military, when you start processing out, getting all your paperwork done, you have to schedule, you know, your appointment with the VA to see if you qualify for anything because of your injuries. And they saw everything in mind. So if you keep a good record, you know, it's easier to claim. Some people who claim their stuff outside of the military because they procrastinate or wait till the last minute or don't think that they can get anything, they start their process after the military is over with. Then they'll get what they call back pay. So if you could determine that you know, this happened while you prior service or during line of duty or service connected, you could qualify for what's called back pay. So that's what that 9,000 was.
There's not one veteran that has been on the show that does not have disability, by the way.
Yeah.
So does every veteran in the world that you know have disability? Cause,
As far as I know, except
Okay.
for my grandfather for some reason. But
okay. Can I ask what happened?
for myself,
Yeah.
just basic stuff. Hurt
But
me.
you heard what he said, right? He said there has never been one veteran that has come onto this platform that doesn't have benefits or VA. So most veterans do get it.
He hurt back.
How'd you hurt it?
Hiking, just the typical stuff. Rather not get into all that.
Yeah, but you wouldn't get disability for hiking.
Well, just hurt legs, hurt back.
Yeah,
See,
but-
this guy, this fat fuck doesn't understand. You know, he pretty much boiled down to hiking. But while you're in the military, if you are off duty, if you get hurt, you know, you don't pay no mind to it, but it can also affect you while you're on duty, depending on what your job is. You know, we consider hiking, we call it hiking, but, you know, ruck marching, doing stuff, you know, any type of things that we do out inside the military, we boil it down to what it is. So, you know, more people can understand what it is. You know, hurt knees, hurt neck, hurt back, joints. You know, when obviously they wear faster when you're in the military. When you're doing repetitive motions in the military versus just living a civilian life, our joints are going to wear out fast because we're using them more. We're having under heavy load, under heavy stress, doing certain things, certain movements that you normally wouldn't do as a civilian. Yes, you have a tendency to wear your body out more. So yeah, that's part of being in the military. That's why you get benefits for it or certain type of privileges for it.
From in the military?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because when you say hiking, I'm thinking you're just going
You
outside
do
and
ruck
going for a hike.
backs, ruck marches.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay,
See?
there we go.
If that's what you're wondering.
See, that's why he broke it down to make it something more simplified because he doesn't know nothing about the military, but yet he has so much to say about the military.
Yeah, I don't need details. I was just curious. Hey, I just become more and more curious because this is every single veteran on the show is on some form of disability.
Yeah.
Which totally down for if something happened.
Yeah.
I'm not against that, but it's making me more and more curious every single time.
Well, I understand. And I mean, if we get on it, it's probably because they have to go through a whole system. It takes like 6 to 8 months most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
They do their research, see what did happen in the military, and then
Sure.
they give it to you or they don't.
That's the thing
Oh, what is this?
with this guy. He doesn't know. You know, he's just like, he looks like he sits on the couch all day, don't do shit. He's a keyboard warrior. He hides behind everything he says on the internet. You know, he doesn't want to, you know, if you meet him in real life, he's going to buck like a fucking, like a little 2-year-old baby and just cry because, you know, he's not about what the life that he says. You know, somebody approaches him, steps to him, he's going to cower. Know nothing about the military. Well, let's see what the comments have to say about this guy. Personally, I think if you serve the military, the government should be paying for your life. Yes, that's the point of having VA benefits. Not everybody gets it, or not everybody's going to get the maximum percentage. Like 100%. Even it goes past that. It goes like 100%, and then there's other things you get special privileges on top of that, depending on if your disability is going to get worse for the duration of your life after the military. They go further into it. Some people get 10%. Some people are rated at 0%, with the possibility of rating higher later on, depends on if their condition gets worse or not. They just don't hand out VA ratings. It's a long process. Exactly. Like I said, you got to track everything that you do in the military, and it's such a disrespectful question. Our vets deserve every bit of what they get. People so upset about VA disability, but turn their blind eye to food stamps, subsidized. Exactly. Exactly. We've actually gone through shit. Whether you've been in the military for 3 months, up to 20 plus 30 years, if you've done something, you got injured, you deserve something for that. Because you put your body on the line to serve your country. Why would you not want to apply to try to get something of it? But yet, we have people like, excuse me, people look like him that sit on the couch all day. They're able-bodied people. They get fucking disability. They get they get food stamps. They get government assistance. And they have all these kids. And they don't do nothing. But they're on TikTok. They're on, Instagram, posting all these pictures and videos of them doing all these types of dances. And, oh, look at me. I got $10,000 in food stamps, and yeah, they ain't ashamed about it. But yet, here we are serving our country, getting shot at, getting fucked up, literally, and we barely get anything. But let it be them though. I don't understand this type of shit.
Caleb Hammer doesn't think veterans should get disability. It's like not even close.
Right.
Those that have been through things, those who actually, if you like sexual assault or like an injury or you breathing chemicals or war zone mental health, things like that, we want them to do it. But I want them to have money forever because they served, they figure that shit out. But listen, the person who's a cook and experienced nothing, the person that was a mechanic and experienced nothing.
The person that was a cook and experienced nothing, the person that was a mechanic and experienced nothing. That's crazy. Even if you're in garrison, you're a cook, or if you're mechanic, cooks get burned. Things happen, heat exhaustion. We out in the field, especially like if you go like somewhere like Fort Bliss or Fort Irwin, California, somewhere hot and humid, or even cold weather injuries. Alaska, Fort Drum, New York, we're out in the field. People get freaking frostbite. You're a mechanic, you're a cook. If you snap your fingers, you break your fingers, you pinch something falls on you as a mechanic. I have lots of friends that are mechanics and cooks that were in the military. People that were in supply. People who, people who worked in PAC, the personnel office. People who worked in Signal, putting computers together, making sure our communication was together in garrison and we're out in the field. You get electrocuted. Shit can happen. You're exposed to certain type of chemicals, when you're putting stuff together. But he says, things like cooks, mechanics, they don't deserve nothing. Oh, my elbow. What type of shit is that? If you served, you do anything, constantly going under vehicles, being exposed to all different types of chemicals, solvents. This guy has no idea what he's talking about. But yet they're the main ones saying that people like me, like other veterans out there around the world, don't deserve any type of benefits.
Nothing is like, oh no, my joint's a little, uh-oh. And the fact that you can go to a specialist before and get coached on what to say to get 100% disability, like that within itself, the fact that
him saying that shows me that he has no clue about what the fuck he's talking about. You can go to a specialist and be coached. If you are seriously injured, if you seriously went through some shit, and if you have the documentation to back it up while you're in service, there is no coaching needed. You literally have your entire medical history in your hands. Same thing. I have my medical history and I have my dental history in hand. So it's been documented the entire time I've been in the military, as other people who've been in the military. So those who haven't done nothing or gotten out before, like I think it's like 100. If you have served at least 180 days, you deserve benefits. But those who served under, okay, I'm pretty sure there's some people who've milked the system, who's gotten over that didn't deserve it, and they got things that they didn't deserve. Okay, but he's talking about the military in a whole. That's wild.
That exists should tell us something. And I think they discredit and do a disservice to those that actually deserve
Okay, well, I guess he clarified.
Because there are people that just, so trust me, if you see people spreading that misinformation out there saying I'm against it, not at all. I'm against people taking advantage of anything.
But he just said it though. Mechanics and freaking cooks, they get fucked up a lot actually.
Including myself if I was taking advantage of not paying taxes.
Right.
Call me out. I don't. I call you out on that.
That is wild. Let's see what these comments got to say. Another yet never joined, but think he knows about the viability, how it works. So cooks and mechanics have never experienced anything that would give them PTSD. Exactly. Like you say, working out at MKT, the mobile kitchen unit trailer. You know, like I said, like when we go out to the fields and military police, we a lot of times too, we help the headquarters set their equipment up. Whether it's the headquarters tent, where it's the shower latrine, the field latrine, whether it's the water buffalo, the Lister bags, all the type of shit. MKT, we help the cooks out because we have our own cooks. We have our own medical aid station. We help set this up, and then we start helping with our own individual platoon, squads, tents. But yeah, we go out to the field. We help the MKT guys, help them put their stuff up so they can start cooking this chow. Because you don't want to have a lot of soldiers out there in the field and they have shitty chow or they have to be subject to eating only MREs. That's why you have the medics. That's why you have the mechanics. That's why you have the cooks to help you out. We do everything, the hard lifting on the outside. They do all the heavy lifting on the inside. They take care of the fob or like whatever the headquarters unit while we're gone, when we're doing missions. Everybody has their own individual mission. Not everybody's going to be infantry. Not everybody's going to have like a cuss job. Even a cussy job, you still got to be able to track supply, like stuff like supply, especially because that's a commander thing. The commander has direct, influence on that. If you have like a supply sergeant that don't know what the fuck he's doing, he fucks up, he's going to, like the commanders in that first one's going to chew that ass. But I don't get why, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people don't know nothing about the military. They just stay the fuck out the military. Don't get in our business, But cooks and medics are deployed with 4 troops. I don't get it. Exactly. They deploy just like we do. Everybody deploys. Veteran here. Caleb's 1000% correct. No, the fuck he's not. He's a fucking idiot. I don't believe this person's a veteran. Let's see what the comments have to say. Veteran here. Caleb is 1 billion% wrong. I win since I added more mere zeros. That's stupid. Your being a veteran doesn't make him right. Found the pogue with 100% that did 4 years and never deployed. Like, again, there are people who've never deployed and they get 100%. It could be something like, I have a friend. He never deployed. He jumped off the back of an LMTV, snapped his freaking back, snapped the ankle. It was during the line of duty. He was doing his job. Did he do things the right way? Probably not. That's why he fucked this shit up. But at the same time, he got injured. He never deployed. There are people who've, that were exposed to, like, burn pits and other things. When we burn certain types of information, because like a lot of times, you can put it in a shredder, and if not, you have to burn it. Go to another site where you burn it. Be exposed to gunpowder, certain types of munitions, never deployed. You can get sick from it. Like when I was in Fort McClellan, Alabama, the water, the chemical companies right there next to it. Now, like a lot of these guys, they're getting cancer because of the water. Same thing, the Marine Corps base there. Because of, they're getting cancer because they're exposed to the water over there in Fort McClellan, Alabama. That's why they closed it down. A non-fit guy who's never served talk about who deserves disability. Mechanic or engineers, as we call them, in the Navy work hard. They are down in the pit, doing crazy shit, making sure the ship moves. Cooks work long hours. They do. They work fucking long hours. Like MPs, we wake up early and we start, around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to start patrolling. The cooks wake up at that time too. You got to think about it. They have to cook for the entire installation. So I don't get why he's saying this guy, this shit pissed me off. I'm not going to read it because, these people like this, he looks like fucking Pat from Saturday Night Live. There's people like this, they don't know, people who don't know who Pat is, I'll pull it up, but people look like this, have no clue about what they're doing, but they want to talk shit about the military. But okay, I'll show you who Pat is because guys probably don't know who I'm talking about. But this is like a long time ago. I'm going to go to my third monitor here. Where we at? Monitor 3. Activate. This is exactly who I'm talking about here. This guy looks like this. This guy. Look at him. Does it not look like that fucker? And these are the types of people that be talking shit about the military, saying we don't deserve benefits. Look. Man, get the hell out of here with that nonsense.
Last couple of days, I realized that civilians really be hating on veterans and veteran benefits, bro. I just read a comment and dude said, I think the benefits are dope. However, I just don't agree with people getting a lifetime payment for basically nothing. And my thing is, you can't say that, especially if you wasn't with that person every day while you were serving. You don't know what that man experienced. You don't know what his body went through his time of serving. Like, how do you know?
Even basic shit that we do, you know, push-ups, you know, sit-ups, 2-mile run. Back in the day when I came, that was the thing. Push-ups, sit-ups, 2-mile run. You know, even back then, you know, running 4, 5, 6 miles. You know, working your Fort Bragg, we got the first sergeant run of pain, do 8-mile run. You know, we just running for the whole hour. Running up like, you know, Long Street, Fort Bragg. Just back and forth, 8 miles. By the time we get back, you know, knees be sore. You run to the speed of the slowest person. So people who are taller, they got to run slower. So that starts to take a toll on their knees. You don't know what we go through in the military. But him to yet you be talking shit about it?
It's not hard for that man to get up out the bed just to take a simple piss. You know what I'm saying? But y'all think since everybody ain't infantry and do all these type of physical hard demanding jobs that don't nobody deserve a VA check. I don't care if a person was Air Force and had an office job like finance. How you know that the chair that he's sitting in ain't break and he ain't break his back or something? You don't know. You wasn't there. It's like these civilians be quick to judge without knowing the full story. Like, you will look at me and think I'm perfectly fine until I show you my medical record. You like, damn, you got all that wrong.
Same here.
Nigga, yes. I've been having the body of a 75-year-old since I was 22 years old. What are you talking about, bruh? So civilians, if you wasn't with that person, bro, every day to see what he went through, well, let alone, just stop talking about veteran benefits, bro. That don't concern you not one bit, all right?
That's what I'm saying. Let's get these comments. This dude like Caleb. That's the guy that we just talked to. The Caleb Hammer, get on here and make those civilians' voices louder. Move in silence, vets. Stop advertising your VA check. Nobody advertises. It's not hard to pull up on the internet, though. The recruiting office is always open. That's what I'm always saying. People always come in there, oh, you know, I would have joined if, or you talk shit, oh, it must be nice you get these benefits. I'm like, the VA still open. The recruiter's office still open. You know, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, 9 to 5. They'll make exceptions. They come, you know, before or after hours. They make exceptions to get their numbers up. It's always open. And our fault, they almost joined. Or I had asthma. Or I have shin splints. You know, let them hate. We earned our benefits. Exactly. Lifelong problems, even lifelong checks. Exactly. It goes the duration of that person's life. So if I live to be 85, 90 years old, I get my check until I die. I don't understand what's so hard about it. They hate us because they're too scared to join us. Exactly. We die super early due to everything we go through in our injuries. I wish I had my healthy body back and I give almost anything. Exactly. But it goes on, the same type of shit. I live in Texas. My coworkers get used to squirming when I tell them I do not pay property taxes. That's, you know, I'm from Texas. You want to move back to Texas, I won't, you know, pay my property taxes. So they say recruiting offices are open for everyone. Not our damn fault. That's what I'm saying. But you got people out here thinking that, you know, we just out here just shamming the system. But that's not the case. But veterans specifically, you know, let me know your thoughts about this. You know, do you know people who talk shit about the military or VA benefits or anything like that? That never served a day in their damn life because they always give the excuses. Oh, I would have done this. I would have done that. I've met so many people since I've been out that said the same exact thing. I just automatically want to just punch them in the mouth because I know the thing about that life. Anyway, like I said, you know, let me know. I would love to read people's comments. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll catch you next video. Peace.